What is up, BAT family? Welcome back to the Builder Trader YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be going over the economic news for the upcoming trading week, as well as covering some technical analysis on our trading pairs. Hope you all had a fantastic week last week. For me, myself, I was not so active on the charts, but really focused on doing some personal development. Some of that would include studying for my Series 7. We started doing that on Monday, and so far that's been a little time consuming, but not trying to burn myself out. Trying to do about an hour or two a day, and yeah, we're getting right along through it. On top of that, also apply to be a member of the CFA Society so that I can start working towards getting my CFA. For those that don't know, CFA stands for Chartered Financial Analyst, and it is one of the most prestigious financial charters that one can hold. Carry as much weight as a master's degree. So with that being said, we are taking the steps to do that, and really excited to do that. It's a long road, but I'm very used to grinding, so we're going to keep on going. We had a very exciting week in the markets from the days that I was looking at the charts. Gold made new all-time high, and we had some really good price action on the US indices as well. The NASDAQ is looking to make a new all-time high as well. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the weekly economic news and see what's happening for this upcoming trading week. No news on Sunday. Market open on Monday after, let me make sure we're in the right time zone. Yeah, 10:35 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Monday, 3 p.m. after market close, we have FOMC member Waller speaking. 7:30 that evening, during Asia session, we have Australian dollar cash rate and Reserve Bank of Australia monetary policy statement, as well as rate statement. So that should cause some volatility for gold and Australian dollar pairs. Then 1 hour after that, 8:30, we have medium impact news. Reserve Bank of Australia is having a press conference on that data that was released. Pre-London Open, we have high impact news for the GBP, Great British Pound, which is the claimant count change. It's a lagging indicator. The number of employed people is an important signal of overall economic health. So it measures the change in number of claiming unemployment-related benefits. Okay, so basically unemployment change, unemployment claims for Great British Pound. Later that morning during London's session, we have Bank of England Governor Bailey speaking. So another high-impact news event for the GBP. Shortly after that, we have German DOW economic statement that is it's essentially just a survey given to analysts and institutional investors to rate the relative 6-month economic outlook for Germany. So that's interesting. Pre-New York Open, we have high-impact news for the Canadian dollar. We have Consumer Price Index for the Canadian dollar, as well as Empire State Manufacturing Index for the USD. Later that morning, we also have President Trump speaking, high-impact news for the US dollar, as well as, that's it for the morning. Later that afternoon, during Asia session, we have high-impact news for the Australian dollar. We have the Wage Price Index data being released. Followed after that would be high-impact news for the New Zealand dollar, which is the official cash rate, and Reserve Bank of New Zealand giving a monetary policy statement and a rate statement. Shortly after that, Reserve Bank of New Zealand will be holding a press conference regarding that data being released. Pre-London Open, and this is Tuesday, pre-London Open, we have another high-impact news for GBP, Great British Pound, which is the Consumer Price Index data for GBP. 11 p.m., 1 hour before London Open. Wednesday, during New York session, 11 a.m., we have FOMC meeting minutes, which is high-impact news for the US dollar. During Asia session, we have unemployment change and unemployment rates for the Australian dollar. Shortly after that, 1-year and 5-year loan prime rates for the Chinese yuan. Thursday, New York Open, or pre-New York Open, we have unemployment claims for the US dollar. Shortly after that, crude oil inventories at 9 a.m. And during Asia Open, we have Reserve Bank of Australia, Governor Bullock speaking, high impact news for the Australian dollar, right at 2:30 p.m. Pre-London Open, 11 p.m., we have high impact news for the Great British Pound, which is retail sales. What a busy week. We have so much high impact news. Not necessarily for the US dollar. I mean, we have some, but a lot of this will be during London and Asia session this week, which is exciting. Lastly, Friday, 15 minutes into London Open, 12:15, we have high impact news for the euro, which is French Flash Services Purchasing Managers Index and French Flash Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index. Shortly after that, we have German Flash Services Purchasing Managers Index, all high impact news, and then another one at 1 a.m. Same similar type of news event. 1:30 a.m. Same news, high impact news for the GBP. So all flash services purchasing manager index news for the various European nations will be here. So you have Euro, Germany, French, and GBP all releasing this data during London session from 12:15 to 1:30. So this will be a really busy hour and a half, 2 hours during London session, during London Open. After that, 5:30 a.m. pre-New York Open, we have high impact news for the Canadian dollar, which is core retail sales and retail sales. Followed after that, 6:45 a.m. high impact news for the US dollar, which is Flash Services Purchasing Managers Index. Looks like everyone is having that news data being released on Friday at certain points in time. After that, we have existing home sales for the USD, which is medium impact news, and last news event of the week, Canadian high impact news for the Canadian dollar. Bank of Canada Governor Macklem is speaking. What a busy week. Make sure you paid attention to all these news events and refer to the news events while you're trading in session. There is a good chance that you will be trading during news or shortly after news events, so be aware of that. Take account for the risk that may be incurred on there, and overall I'm excited for this week. There's a lot of opportunity coming up. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our analysis here. As always, we'll be starting with gold first. So here we are on the gold chart. Let's go ahead and make a fresh markup. Well, not entirely a fresh markup, but let's go ahead and adjust our technicals. As we can see, we made a new all-time high. We had a high of 29.42 and 78 cents last week, right in our green zone too. What do you know? Who would have thought? I've been telling y'all that is, you can definitely track the overall higher time frame trend if you utilize the methods I've been showing. All right, previous week's high, right where this blue zone is in that wick. Let's get this green zone out of here because we hit that overall take profit point. Our previous week's low is going to be right here, right at the bottom of this bullish candle that opened last week. So we're in a tight range. Got some major rejection off a new all-time high. Looks like a pullback is in place. What else do we have? Let's maybe zoom out to the monthly time. Yeah, still looking real bullish on the monthly. Monthly low is going to be this wick right here on support. Okay, we're going to go zoom in to the 12-hour time frame on the right and 4-hour time frame on the left. We'd see equal highs. We're at an area of support now. Price is bearish. Looking like we may pull back further. More room to go lower. Actually, zoom out to the weekly real quick. We're just going to see something here. Let's apply the Fibonacci tool. If we are able to sustain bullish momentum, which it's hard to say currently, we have some strong buyers exhaustion. Buyers are getting tired here. Sellers jumping in. We made a new all-time high. Profits are being taken. It does look like price wants to go lower. maybe the 2840 price range, 2850, 2840, and then potentially lower down to 2800. We would need the previous week's low to be broken for a confirmed bearish trend. Let's see here. There's not really much price can react from in this area. It does look like it's just going to break lower to the 2850 point. We have this area of demand down here. We have previous resistance acting as support where we got this push from, and now price is here again. We have a small wick rejection here from buyers trying to step in and push the market back up once more. It is possible that we could see a slight pullback down here. It could even break the previous week's low and then flip bullish, but I'm not sure if this is the likely situation in this scenario. Although I've seen this happen, it can definitely take liquidity and flip bullish, but there is an area that we have to look at that price may react from as resistance right here. Obviously, we have this area of supply and resistance here at the all-time high. Let's go ahead and mark that off as such too. We need to know this is the all-time high area. Oops. Yep, all-time high, there we go. One second, this is not syncing like it needs to. What in the world? Why are you doing this to me, TradingView? Okay. Okay, well, we know this is our all-time high here. For whatever reason, it wants to be annoying and not properly sync on the layout, but regardless. Price could hold this area. And if it does, 29.65 would be the first take profit area would be seeing for this week. If price breaks above there, we have 29.93, which is right below 3K, which is that overall target we are seeing. I do think a pullback would be likely in the scenario, though, just based on what we're seeing so far. I'm going to set an alert at 29.60 and 29.90. We have our overall price targets to the upside. Let's drag these over a bit. We have our overall areas price may come down and react from. We could possibly take sells as well from this point to where this zone is. Let's make this a different color. Here. It's right between 29.07 and 29.20. We could get something like this. Price come up, make a lower high, and then drive down to the previous week's low to break the low and potentially continue lower down to the 28.40, 28.30 price range down here. We could see something like this. It really depends what type of price action we get on this level of support here. If we go down to the lower time frame, the 1 hour, we have one bullish candle. We would need to see some type of transition, boop, break structure, retest, and continue up like that. So we could get a short-term move to start the week like such. But overall, we have bearish pressure coming in. To me, it does look like we're going to open bearish and then make a wick, determine if we're going to continue higher or not at this area. This would be a make or break point around 29.20, 29.10 to 29.20. If it breaks above that point, there's a good chance we have enough bullish pressure to continue to make a new all-time high. If we break below this low, previous week's low, we have 28.40 and 28.30 coming. So the overall setup I am seeing would be this here, potential short-term move. Then from there may make a lower high and continue down to this point, or we may continue breaking higher. But overall, seeing this setup to start the week. A short-term buy right here, similar to this. So 1.25 risk reward. But overall for gold, need to determine what may happen at the current level of support and at the previous week's low. Overall, still targeting our higher time frame targets, 29.60 price range for this weekend, up to 29.90, and then overall 3,000. Next pair we'll be looking at is silver. Silver here hit also that overall take profit range at the 33.50 price range. We made an overall high at $33.38 last week. Now we're seeing same thing, major rejections. Let's move this to our previous week's high, since this is our previous week's high now. Our previous week's low is going to be moved to this wick here. Had a lot of volatility on silver last week, as you can see. Alright, so this is looking good. We have previous resistance right here, support clearly marked. All right. Based on this price action, we can see that a lot of sellers got in at this new high. We can see a lot of buyers took profit. And we're at an area where price does look like it wants to push bearish first before moving higher. Let's measure the previous week's candle real quick. This week we may see up to $34, which is this area of supply up here. So let's mark this off. This whole area of supply we may see. 33.50, well, it is as low as 33.50, but I do believe we're going to extend much higher than that, up to $34 and then $34.50, a little bit above that, right where the all-time high is, right below 35. And I do believe we may see 35, not next week, but the following week. Who knows? It could happen this week, but overall, this is our price points we're looking at. We'll make an alert at $34 and then an alert at $34.50. But overall, silver's still looking bullish. Lots of technicals here. We just had a pullback. We can see daily time frame. This is a strong bearish reversal candle. Still pullback looking likely. We could hit the previous week's low, react from this area of demand, and maybe do something like this. Find a major low point here or create a higher low point here, and risk reward tool could be something similar like this, or something as such like this. This would be a 4.5 risk reward if we hit that new high. If we're just targeting the previous week's high, 3-hour trade. To start the week, it does look like a pullback may happen since we have a strong bearish candle. Might get a slight pullback. Then it keeps going lower. Overall, seeing this area of demand being met before we continue higher. But it is possible, if we go to lower time frame, this area holds as support. If we hold this area and just create a bullish candle, and we engulf this here at 32.30, just a strong bullish candle that overtakes this one, I would say that's our signal to take the buys. Because if it was going to break lower, we wouldn't see a strong bullish engulfing candle. Now this is a variation. We want to see something like this or one whole candle. I'll take this one right here to the right. And if we do, we can target this as a short-term trade. If we put it right below this low, it's 1.9 to our risk reward trade on here if we're just targeting a short-term target of last week's high. And if we go beyond that, up to $34, that's a nearly 4-hour risk reward. So overall, good trade setup. Still think we're bullish with potential to go lower down to 31.40 and then continue up with this bullish trend. Overall, bullish on silver. Everything is still technically sound, and we'll just have to monitor these certain areas. But overall, still looking to break its all-time high and target $35. Next, we'll be looking at the NASDAQ 100 here. NASDAQ had a very exciting week, and we did pop above its all-time high, just right above it. Excellent. And this is the same market from last week. As you can see, we had that Fibonacci tool on still, and we hit the overall weekly projection target. This is how it works, guys. It's pretty simple. If it doesn't, you just adapt accordingly, but you don't fixate on that it's going to happen right away. You have to take the trades with the intraday levels and take profits and everything, but overall, you can see the overall picture where things are going. So previous week's high is right at the all-time high, so we'll put that here. Previous week's low is right at this bullish candle. We had no wick last week, just opened bullish volume. We did have one pullback during news, which this was on Wednesday, high impact news, and overall tapped, reversed, and kept climbing higher. So what else do we have here? We can see our overall target still at 22,400 price range, and then up to 23,000. Both of these are still intact and still looking to be met here. Knock it off. To start the week, we may get some type of pullback to retest support. But based on where it's at, I really think price is just going to open bullish and keep climbing. Might get a similar candle as to last week's open, but if we do get some type of small pullback, we may see 22,000 retested once again at this little minor level. And then we keep climbing higher. But overall, I think we're just going to print a bullish candle, and it's just going to just open bullish at the start of the week. There's a lot of buyers in this market. We have cleared certain technical areas, and it looks like it's just clear for launch up to a new high and would be in a price discovery phase. Overall, NASDAQ bullish, very bullish, up to 22,400 and potentially up to 23,000 price range. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's go to the 12-hour time frame. Yeah, that's literally it. It's pretty clear as day. If we break below this level of support at 22,000, we could see a retest at the 21,900, 21,800 price range. But overall, just looking to keep going higher. If we place a risk to reward tool here and try to get a buy setup right on the open with a tight stop loss, because we're anticipating just to keep pushing, then this would be a 2.5 risk to reward up to a 3.5 risk to reward trade, which is pretty lucrative. But that's it for the NASDAQ. Overall bullish, looking to continue climbing higher and making a new all-time high. Next, US30 here. Now, US30's charts is not as exciting as the NASDAQ, but there is still lots of potential here as well. Alrighty, so on the right-hand side, we're on the weekly time frame. Previous week's high is higher than last week's high, so let's drag this down. We did not break last week's, or the 2 weeks high. 2 weeks ago, that high. So previous week's high is lower than the previous week. So here, we have our previous week's low, which is higher than the previous week. So we did make some progress in terms of the higher time frame candles. It does look like US30 is pending a breakout here. We are in consolidation. We can see a higher low point on the weekly time frame. We have a bullish candle here. We have some bearish candles printing to indicate a slight pullback, but this looks like it's losing volume, and it looks like we may be able to take buys here, and a new all-time high may be created on US30 as well. That does look imminent here this week. It's pretty clear as day. Alrighty, my apologies there. You know, little old Toshi, my pet rabbit, misbehaving, nipping on things, had to go deal with that. Anyways, overall, new all-time high looking to be created. If we add this risk reward tool here, we can see the overall setup I am seeing. Stop loss at 44,250 price range with a take profit of a new all-time high. Left hand or right hand side going at the 12-hour time frame. Let's drag this zone over. This is way too far away. Perfect. Alrighty. So if price does hold here, and if we just target the previous all-time high at this resistance, it's almost a 2-hour trade. If we target a new all-time high at 45,900, we have nearly a 5-hour trade. If we put, and this is with the stop loss below the strong bullish candle here we have on the 12-hour time frame. Looks like a golden setup. We could extend it lower below the previous week's low, still be over a 3-hour risk reward trade. This is a fantastic setup. I will be watching US30. This is great. This is really great. Breakout looks very imminent here. Yeah, both the NASDAQ and US30. New all-time highs, still looking strong. US30 though has been consolidating, and as you can see, that's why it's been moving sideways and kind of choppy. But we have strong indications of bullish pressure coming in. Next, we'll be looking at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin is still on track to make a new all-time high at a 115,000, 120,000 price range. We look on the left-hand side of this daily time frame, just a lot of choppy price action forming a higher low point here, a lot of ranging, a lot of chop overall, trying to develop or create a floor here to continue higher. And you can literally see it. It's just starting to transition slowly but surely. And all these wick rejections are strong indication just on the daily time frame. Wick. And you can see more bullish candles than bearish candles. Overall, looking to climb higher. Let's look at the monthly time frame real quick. Yeah, monthly looks like it's found its level of support and is looking to start climbing bullish and may flip. So if we break above this point here, 102,790, Bitcoin's just going to keep going higher. It's clear for launch if it breaks above its monthly high. If this bearish candle on the monthly time frame breaks above its monthly high and flips bullish, all this price action is undone, leaves a massive wick. Just going to keep climbing higher. We can measure it with the zone here. So if we do a similar candle as last month, we apply it to the current month, you clearly see new all-time high. And that's if we just have similar volume, which it's already looking like that. But overall, Bitcoin's still targeting Bitcoin's still targeting a new all-time high, 115,000 to 120,000. Right now, it does look like a good opportunity to add some more or get in, whichever one. And those are all the pairs I'm covering this week, guys. So I hope you enjoyed. I do try my best to provide the best analysis and information to you all. If you have not already, go ahead and join my free Telegram channel. It is in the video description here. This week we'll be sending quite a few signals based on the analysis that you see here on all of these pairs. US30, NASDAQ 100, gold, and silver, all looking exciting, and I'm going to try and call a signal on each of them as they line up with our analysis here. With that being said, hope you all have a great trading week. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Telegram. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, X, TikTok. I am there. There is someone else out there using the same username as me. Just follow the ones that are in the video description. That is me. Those are my accounts. Hope you all enjoy the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.